Right, so we are live. Just checking, and yep, that is true. Alright, welcome. It's been a while, and hopefully I bring some value in this stream because I'm just going over 3 topics. I've been back after a while, decided to get back into streaming. I'll move this around to the other side. Just getting used to the new streaming software and the mic. So I'm using the Shure MV7 now, and Ecamm Live as the recording studio. So those are some new tools to play around with. If the audio is not good, please let me know, and I will try to fix that during the stream. Alright, so the 3 topics we're going to focus on today is this new runtime named Bun. Well, it's been out for a while, but it's 1.0, just got released recently. And so we'll be going over that a bit more and see how it compares to Node.js and the package installers such as npm, yarn, and pnpm. We've got a few floating around, so we'll see how it goes. We'll also talk about AWS Amplify and SST. So I've been diving more into the serverless space. So it's an interesting area. So it'll be good to see the value in using these architecture. All right. So as you can see on this page, they claim that Bun is a fast JavaScript all-in-one toolkit on runtime. It is Node.js compatible, and it's got some tools already built inside. So it's got TypeScript built in. It's got NodeMon. You got env variables by default. You've got a lot of components inside Bun, which you would need to do npm install in Node.js typically, and yeah, so it's pretty interesting to see how this will turn out. So the good thing about this is that they're saying that there's drop-in Node.js compatibility, works with Node modules, so it shouldn't look too much different to your typical Node.js approach. So you could still use Express, you could still use your usual approach of building your server-side or front-end application. But if you want to specifically use Bun to create your backend or front-end, then you are able to do so. Although probably in most cases you would be using, at least for the backend, you'd be using the Express framework or Fastify or Koa, and yeah, so you'd be more likely to use that in a develop environment than using a runtime directly. So I think it's a step in the right direction. So the watch mode, so gone are the days of installing NodeMon and configuring that NodeMon file, which is pretty good. JSX just works, and TypeScript, of course. Yep. So when you initialize your Bun project, you've got TypeScript support out of the box. I think you still need to install types, so for Bun specifically, but you would have your TS config. You don't need to install TS node or TSC, and you do all this TS config configuration manually. Bun does that for you. And they have a starter here, so I'll probably get deep into it. Oh, and this is the comparison, and this is based off the installing dependencies from cache for remix app. So it's based on those results, and they're claiming the bun is 36 seconds. Is that 36 seconds? Oh no, it's not even 36 seconds. 0.36 seconds. Okay. PNPM 6.44 seconds, 10.58 seconds NPM, and yarn is 12.08 seconds. I always thought yarn was faster than NPM, but it doesn't seem like in this result it is. Alright, you do see the keyword fast everywhere, so we'll give it a try and see how we go. And so let's bring a term. Well, let's go to the docs, and they explain a bit more what bun is and what type of commands you can you can use. You can also run tests out of the box, so you don't need to install Jest or any other framework. But most likely, if you're continuing development, then you would need to probably use Jest if that's what you're used to. So, all right. So installation. So I've already had it installed. So I'll just initialize it and bring up my terminal. So I've got this. I've ran this code command. So if I type in bun, you can see I've got some help guidelines of using this CLI. I'll probably create the package in here. So to start off, we'll do bun init, like npm init, or I believe yarn init as well. And I'm going to keep the package name the same. Entry point index.ts. I prefer that. And our package.json is created. Now notice you don't have to do this enter in your npm or yarn. I mean, in npm you could just do --y and escape that, and then you can configure on your own. But probably same with yarn as well. But point being is that you don't, when you do the init, you don't have many options to go through. It's the one that is mandatory. And so if I bring this, my VS Code, you may notice that since we have the entry point as index.ts, the index.ts gets generated. Now, this is pretty good because you don't have to create an index file and then just start it. And you also get your ts config, as you can see. It comes out of the box. It's already installed TypeScript as a peer dependency. Well, it's a peer dependency. Dev dependency is the bun types. Although in their instructions it says that you need to add bun types, but I've already got it as the dev dependency, so I don't know if I need to run that. We'll give it a go, but it should be all good, hopefully. Now if I do bun index.ts, it comes up with the console log, just like you would do node index.ts, or ts node index.ts, or you would use node index.js in that instance. So pretty good. Comes out of the box. Now, yep, so you can also, just let me move around. You can add completions, shell completions, but we'll just probably straight get into what typically happens. We'll just try to run a server and see how that goes. I could just use this button. I don't know why I keep missing this in many documentations, but I'll just paste this in. And should run on localhost 3000, and I believe that should be on the slash route. Oh no, that's just running the server. I'll just try to run it. And is the port 3000 in use? Alright. I'll just change the port just in case. If I have any other applications running in the, oh, I think I do. Yep. Alright, I'll change it back. It's for my second demonstration, so I had it running before the stream. So, bun index.ts listening. And I'm pretty sure if I do curl slash, it should be fine. So curl http localhost 3000 slash, you get bun. Cool. All right. That's good. Simple server, up and running. If that's your thing, then you might want to try it out and see if you can build a full-fledged server using just the bun modules. I'm sure there's a lot more things that that comes with buns. Well, with bun, not buns. But let's try to just initialize an Express application. So we'll exit this and just do bun. I think it's install Express. Done already. And I am pretty sure we still need to install types, but let's give it a go. So import Express from Express. All right. And you can see we got some type errors. So we still need to install the types because it's coming from the, I believe this is still coming from the npm registry. So we'll do bun I-d. I don't know if it needs to be uppercase. And we've got types installed. And I might have not imported that correctly. It's Express. Const app. We'll let Copilot build it up. Cool. Alright. Now just to test it, so we'll just do bun index.ts. Right, so it's running on port 3000. Now we'll just do the curl again and we get hello world. Alright, so this could be an alternative if you're coming off from Express and still want to use Express, or even NextJS or any type of framework, you're still able to do so. Bun just makes it faster to install your modules and run it. It's essentially a runtime. So, alright. Was there anything else I'm missing? Got templates. Wonder if there's a, let's say bun create remix. I wonder if this, so you know how we have npx create next app. This is very similar. You can create off the template. And yep, so this is more about templating. This is an overall look. And yep, so you've got some Node.js compatibility. I think there's some, it's not a full compatibility. I think they're still working on it. But if you're used to Node, you might be able to use some of the Node features onto a bun-based application. All right, so I'm not sure if there's anything else to look. In bun, I'm just looking at chat. See if we're all good. Alright, cool. Oh, watching, sorry. That's what I forgot. And envs. There's two things I forgot already. So, alright, so let's create a .env file. So I haven't attempted this one before. Let's see how we go. Port equals 7,000. Actually, no, let's stick with 8,000. Let's just use that as an example. And then we'll just do const. And let's chuck in the port here and just try to run it. And so we should see 8,000 now. No, we don't. Alright, so what have I done wrong? Because I'm pretty sure I'm not meant to use .env from what I read. Envs. So environment variables. Ah, okay, so it's meant to be a bun.env. Oh, but you could still use an env file. Alright, so let's have a look. Ah, there's a problem. I thought I didn't create this. Let's see. Alright, no. Maybe it's bun.env. I'll just pass this here. I had to use one tab. Interesting. We'll just console log this as usual debugging. I should use watch more. Okay, so it is being passed. Let's take this out. Ah, sorry. My bad. It probably was running. Alright, and this is why you don't rely on the AI generated code too much, because you don't you probably would miss what's being generated. Alright, let's close this. And it is running on 8,000 indeed. And if we do our handy curl test, this will fail on 3,000. Change that to 8,000 and we still have it fail for some reason. Why is it failing on 8,000 now? First of all, let me delete this to clean it up a bit. Let's open a new terminal and then curl. That's interesting. Could not connect to server. Okay, so this is what I don't understand. Why is this file being created? I'm pretty sure I deleted this. Alright, so that's our second problem. Why is it not running on 8? I've passed the port in. Alright, let me just see if I change this to 8000 manually and see how we go with that. Okay, it seems like the port's not being read when passing in here. If we take this or 3000 away, alright, so 8000, and we run this curl. Alright, so env variable's not being read here at all. Which is strange because the app is running and I'm passing a direct variable. Alright, let me just hard code this. First of all, let's try another feature as well, which is the watch. So I'm pretty sure it's just bun watch index.ts. Or not. So we'll actually go in the documentation and read. Whereabouts is this? Watch mode -- watch. Alright, of course. Alright, cool. So if we make any changes, it does it. Yep, cool. Cool beans. Alright, so I've hard coded this and this works. If I do process.env.port and I will console log here upon running. Cool. Thank you, Copilot. And we do get this. And now we can't code it. Interesting. Alright, so maybe what I don't understand is this file that gets created here. Now I've not used bun before, so maybe I'm a bit lost with this one, but or maybe there's something I'm doing really completely wrong. So, well, that's unfortunate, but we'll see. Env button.env API token. I wonder if we're meant to use the button.env. Ah, there we go. Environment variables. Button automatically loads environment variables from .env files before running a file, script, or executable. .env.local first. And okay, let's try that. If this, I am a little concerned about this one though. Alright, so I've changed this. I don't know if that ran hot reload, but I'll run it again. I'll just curl it. See if that was the issue. Nope. Let me just put this on the side. Probably didn't use bun watch run index.ts, although I don't believe that's the issue. Okay, so it is reading from env.local, so if we do the curl request, this fails. Interesting. And so, okay. Although if I pass in the or condition, and pass in 3, oh, I'll just do 8,000. Still doesn't read it, so it's not undefined. Oops. Let's watch it again, just in case. Sorry, 3. Alright, so that's interesting. I'm just trying to get the command for all the ports running, so that's 7,000, 5,000. I don't see an 8,000 here. I know 5,000 is always being run by default. I ran a Docker container which had 5,000 and that blocked me, so definitely not sure. Sorry, definitely sure it's not 5,000. But if I change this 7,000, 7,000 is something unique. I don't know what's being run on 7,000. I don't see a 3,000. I don't see a 8,000. So where is this app running then? All right. For now, probably rely on the .env config still. I think probably have to look in GitHub and see if there's any issues with the env. We got some issues already coming up here. So it's only just recently released, so don't want to go too aggressive here, but yeah, it's fairly new, and as time goes on, it'll be more and more stable to use. But yeah, we can see in the past 15 hours and more, there's issues piling up still. And I believe Bun and the team at Bun is probably prioritizing this and trying to, yep, so we can see these pull requests being put in. So they're definitely working on it. I haven't seen the env one though. Env. Some clashing, support for NextJS. Already in use. Alright, anyways. Overall, most other than the env, I think it's pretty fast in terms of installing packages. I don't see any issues using this other than the env. So it is I would still probably stick with something more stable, but just keep an eye out if you're interested in using this runtime. So yeah. All right. So What's next? Amplify. Now, AWS Amplify has been emerging a fair bit. It's coming as a competitor to Whistle in terms of your application deployment. There's also other methods as well, but I'm going to be covering Amplify for now and see how that works, because I've been playing around a fair bit with this and the whole SST server-side deployment. Sorry, not server-side, serverless. So, alright, so I've got an existing app here, but I'm going to delete this. And I'm going to attach a new one. So, make sure you do host a web app if you're doing this for a web application like NextJS, Next, Remix, all of these. So AWS has made a similar flow to how you would do it in Whistle. So I'm going to select GitHub. I've already got my repository hooked up, so I'll just click on the repository, and it's this next app new. So I have this one open, connected in one repo. Nope, I am not. Click next. And you can see they've got some pre-configurations on the build and testing. You can modify that as you wish. You can add your own pipeline conditions around it. So make sure that it follows your procedural guidelines in terms of deployment. So IAM role, so probably still create a new service role and make sure you tag all of your AWS instances just for your billing. And just a reminder, please make sure you're using a non-root account. You want to make sure that the account that you're using doesn't have full permissions, but sufficient enough for you to go around AWS. You only want to use the root account for in highly administrative or emergency situations. Same with the CLI. You don't use the same account as the one as the console. You want to make sure they're all different. Alright, so we've got provision, now it's building. And we should be able to see our app soon. So it's still trying to deploy. It does take a bit, so this is one thing I have to give Whistle. It's that they're a bit faster in terms of deployment compared to AWS Amplify, or even just the whole serverless architecture approach. It's a bit faster to do it on Whistle. I'll give it that, because this does take a bit of time to generate. And we'll see if this changes. While that's happening, I'll show what we can do with this. So we can set up a staging version of the site, which is pretty useful when when it comes to web application development. You can password protect your site. So let's say you're not quite ready to show your main branch, or even or you want to hide your staging and want to make it exclusive access, then you can use password protection. Typically, you'd whitelist the IP addresses for those, but yeah, you can password protect your sites. Enable pull request previews. I think this is pretty helpful. Creates an instance of the pull request preview, so it gives you an opportunity to test without just having it in your own instance and spinning it up. But I do recommend that you have your own pipelines and CI/CD procedures before you, so that you're not fully reliant on the infrastructure here, but you have your own processes before the code gets deployed into develop, and of course to production. All right, so that's up, and we will have a look. Yep, so simple NextJS app, nothing too special. Now, I gotta say, you don't see the services as openly as you would in a different way. So what I mean by that is that you're not quite sure what's running in the background. But I'm pretty sure if I go to their documentation and we look at, we see if we have any indication. These are just instructions, so not much of an indication, but essentially I believe this link is being run from CloudFront, and if I run this page, pretty sure it should say something about CloudFront somewhere. Miss from CloudFront. Okay. All right, so there's one thing that I need to mention here, and I only realized this from a YouTuber named WebDevCody. So I feel like there might be some cookie caching issues. I'm not sure if this is still present, but I saw this in a video. And essentially, if you have Google Analytics or anything that's relying on cookies, it was generating more costs. But I'm not too heavily aware about it too much. But I think it's something to look out for. And I believe there were GitHub issues as well around this. So Amplify is still, even though it is a product or service from AWS, you should be very cautious about it, and I encourage you to explore more if it works out for you and monitor your billing. The first 12 months, I believe, is free. So it should be all good for the first 12 months, but make sure you check what services are. Make sure you check your billing dashboard before you proceed with finalizing a project to be staying here. But the reason I'm going through this is I want to show this as an alternative to use. So, and I believe this is still being built, constantly being improved. So I believe there were more steps than this to get this at this stage. So this is pretty good by far. and you can add a custom domain with free SSL certificate. So there's a lot of steps that are very friendly for the user on AWS, so that you're not fully tackling around with Route 53. Maybe you might have to use something from, you might have to use it from there and configure some options, but at least it guides your way through to add the domain. But let's do something. So let's set up a feature branch. Alright, so we've got some issues with authorization. One of the other things that was a little drawback was this interface. I don't know where I'm going here, but so let's try to set up this test version. Okay, I see what I need to do. I probably need to wait for loading. Alright, I had this working earlier. One of these moments, of course. But I don't think this is on my end. I'm not sure what's going on here, to be honest. See if I can find it from here. Just to connect the feature branch. You can add redirects here as well. I've got some monitoring, and so I believe it's still ideal to set up CloudWatch for this, but I believe this is just the Nginx access logs. Yep, and it gives you the metrics. And I believe this is, so I think we also need to keep in caution is that I don't believe Edge is being used properly here. So it'll be used serverless, probably fired off from Lambda. So let's try this again, because I was really looking forward to demonstrate this, but nope. Alright. Alright, then. That's unfortunate. Can we at least set a password? Alright. Of course. We'll keep it as that. Now, if we visit this site, so I've set the password here, so I've restricted the main branch. Any deployment that's done from the main branch, it's going to be restricted with the username and password. And so if I click on this, usually shouldn't see the background. I don't know what's going on here. But if I do test 1, 2, 3 and test 1, 2, 3, I got into the site. Cool stuff. Alright, we've done this, but we want to turn it off because I don't think I'm going to use this right now. Alright, what is the next step? So, enable pull request reviews. This is another feature I wanted to use. I thought I had this installed. Bear with me. I think my GitHub is out of sync, so yeah, I'm pretty sure this is sync. I'm not sure what's going on here, but it's a bit strange. Manage pull request reviews, confirm, so that's enabled. Alright, so let's do something. I'm in this branch. Let's create a feature branch here. So feature test 01. Right. And I've got the repository. Actually, yep, I've got the repository here. And we'll just change this to, I'll add AWS Amplify. I'll just say this, I'll change this to a shareable site, a URL with anything. Don't know if that makes sense, but I'll just add it for the sake of changing, and then changed text, commit it, push. I usually prefer the CLI, but just try to get this through. That should be pushed. Refresh. Branch. This branch is one commit behind main. And I just made a mistake already on stream. Alright, let me just revert that. Revert. Nope, I don't need to do any changes. Did it push? Alright, cool. 2 commits, that's all good. I probably should turn this off. And gf get fetch, so I'm using Z shell. So, and gco git checkout feature test, and git merge main, and gp. Right, and we'll change the text. Do it here. Any platform. That makes more sense. Edit, change. Well, I'll just say changed text, and git push. GAC is customized on my customized alias on my system, so that's not included in the Z shell git command lines. All right, so now we can make a pull request, and for the sake of this demonstration, we'll just create a pull request with a description. I'm not gonna add anyone, and okay, so yep, all right, cool. I was worried for a second. Now, if you can see this, it's now creating a preview instance. But interestingly, it's not running in GitHub Actions. It's a webhook, it seems, before it allows you to merge the pull request. So as soon as you merge the pull request, this preview is gone. But until then, this preview stays up. Not aware about the charges though, but I believe at least for the first 12 months it'll be quite minimal, and since you won't have it up for a long time due to the nature of the URL not URL, but the application at least in the backend being serverless, and you would not be exceeding the CloudFront 1 million APIs, 1 million URL calls. You'd be fine. But based on current observations, I don't think it's been too smooth yet. So I'd be a bit cautious before migrating over, but it's still a good alternative to explore. Alright, so this does take a while. So this is one of the things, is that these instances take a while to generate. And when I go through the SST, I probably won't do this today. I'll probably do this in tomorrow's stream. It does take a while to spin up a stack. Whereas in Vercel, when you try to deploy it, it takes very minimal time. Alright, so this is taking a while. I'm not sure how I feel about this check. Oh, okay, it's done. Nice. About 1.5, 2 minutes. And if we click on this, it will show the site. And it says any platform here. So that seems like it did the job. And now we can, where's my tab? Maybe I have to just go back. And then I'll just open this on a new tab. But this instance should go down after I click merge. So I'll just merge this, commit merge, and delete branch. And this instance, I don't know if you're meant to see it here. Okay, so this has started building, but this will start spinning down any moment. Maybe it's after that gets built. Okay, so we'll see this go away eventually. And I really wanted to demonstrate the test one. Okay, cool. Now that I've merged it in, I can't demonstrate, but essentially what happens is that if you have a feature branch, is that you can have a test instance running on the side as well. So this is before you pull request, or if you have a staging site such as develop, you can run that as well. All right, this is up. So let's say you want to also use develop. I thought I deleted this, but all right. So let's say we have develop, and we'll just go back here. Pretty sure there's a way to access this. Previews. Okay, preview settings. Actually, it might not be previews. Just try and see where that is located. All right, develop. Save and deploy. And the develop instance will start to build. Once main is done, and it is done, so if you look at it, the changes have not reflected yet. And I wonder if this is due to caching. Interesting. Ah, yeah, it's due to caching, so it's my in-browser caching. I just open it up in a private window. Alright, cool. And so this develop one will spin up as well. And I believe that would be it. Obviously, there's more than this. You can play around with build settings. You can add environment variables. I believe this is probably useful. It might be using AWS secrets as part of this, but I'm not 100% sure on that. So double check. And also make sure that you assess the compatibility for your application in terms of production. The last thing you want is deploying your application on infrastructure and then realizing that you have to debug and part of the solution is not working. So you don't want to get into that situation. Just make sure you test it out, make sure it works for you, and hopefully you find a good solution from there. Or it helps you to make a better decision. All right, cool. So another third topic is SST, but I'll probably do that tomorrow. So I'll edit the description. There might be a part 2 to this, but there's a backend side of the Amplify Studio. So there's Amplify Studio for essentially your UI forms and backend and setting up your Lambda functions for APIs. So let's say you're not fully using the NextJS APIs or API routes, so you have your own dedicated backend. You could still deploy that with Amplify and make your backend a bit more serverless. So we got this develop one ready, and we should not see any difference because we haven't done anything on develop. All right, that's it for tonight. Not as exactly as how I expected it to go, but this is a stream. I don't expect anything perfect. Well, I really hope it goes perfect, but there's gonna be nuances that is out of my control, and we've seen that with the couple of the examples here. But I like the streaming format a bit better than video. Videos, I could still work with video, but I feel like streaming is a bit more natural to me. All right, see you later then. I hope you enjoyed it. All right.